thank you for seeing me, Father Tim. I know I'm not even Catholic, but I just had to talk to someone. I just keep having these thoughts, impure thoughts in my soul, Father. I can't make them go away. I need help. I just need someone to help me, Father. Can you help me? No, not those kind of thoughts. It's money related, Father. Just school is so expensive. There's this old woman, and she's a pawnbroker. And she has all this money, and she's such a mean person. Father, I want to kill her. I want to murder her. I want to murder her and get the money so I can pay for my school. Is that an impure thought, Father? Is that a sin? Father?
This is the Jean-Paul Sartre Insight Podcast.
With your host, Chris McCord. The Priest. In Fyodor Dostoevsky's Crime and Punishment, Raskolnikov comes up with a creative solution to the problem of paying for college. He will rob and murder a mean elderly pawnbroker. From a practical point of view, this is the perfect solution. The world will not miss this abusive skinflint, and Raskolnikov will have his tuition covered. When he implements his plan, things begin to go wrong. First, the pawnbroker refuses to let him in her apartment. When he does get in, she seems suspicious of his intent. After he musters up his courage and clocks her with the blunt side of an axe, the old lady's kindly sister stumbles upon the murder scene and screams in horror. What can he do? You guessed it, he murders her too. Detective Porfiry Petrovich plays Columbo to Raskolnikov's villain. In fact, Petrovich was the inspiration for TV's Columbo. For months, he plays a game of cat and mouse with the anti-hero. One more thing, sir. Did you know you were the only one who had pawned an item with the old lady who didn't bother to come by the police station to try to get it back? I just figured you must be rich or something. But then you told me you're poor as Job's turkey. Hey, and speaking of turkey, my wife loves turkey. Are you a fan of deep-fried Cajun turkey, sir? Ultimately, Raskolnikov confesses and goes to prison. If the novel were an episode of Columbo, the story would end and the credits would roll to some rather dramatic music. But the great book has one more twist in store for us. In prison, Raskolnikov changes his heart and becomes a Christian. Sartre recognizes this change as a great literary example of radical conversion. In Being in Nothingness's best prose, Sartre comments on Raskolnikov's shift in project.
One may recall the instant when Raskolnikov decides to give himself up. These extraordinary and marvelous instants when the prior project collapses into the past in the light of a new project which rises on its ruins and which as yet exists only in outline, in which humiliation, anguish, joy, hope are delicately blended, in which we let go in order to grasp and grasp in order to let go. These have often appeared to furnish the clearest and most moving image of our freedom.
This brings us to Sartre's story of the priest. During World War II, Sartre served as a kind of amateur meteorologist in the military. He helped launch weather balloons to predict good days for battle. But he was caught and imprisoned by the Germans. It was in prison that the two met.
When I was in a German prison camp, I met a rather remarkable man who happened to be a Jesuit. This is how he came to join the order. He had experienced several frustrating setbacks in his life. His father died while he was still a child, leaving him in poverty, but he was awarded a scholarship to a religious institution, where he was constantly reminded that he had been accepted only out of charity. He was subsequently denied a number of distinctions and honors that would have pleased any child, Then when he was about 18 years old, he had an unfortunate love affair that broke his heart. Finally, at the age of 22, what should have been a trifle was actually the last straw. He flunked out of military training school. This young man had every right to believe he was a total failure. It was a sign, but a sign of what? He could have sought refuge in bitterness or despair. Instead, and it was very clever of him, he chose to take it as a sign that he was not destined for secular success, and that his achievements would be attained only in the realms of religion, sanctity, and faith.
Both Raskolnikov and the priest could have chosen to remain the things they were. Raskolnikov could have been nothing more than a murderer, and the priest could have been the failure he was. But through human freedom, each abandoned what he was for what he could be. As a toxic manipulator's victim, you may feel condemned to be just that, the victim. But your past and what you become are not the same. Your story doesn't end here. We let go to grasp, and grasp to let go, says Sartre. We rise on the ruins.